Start your journey into a fantasy world. This is our review of Wondrous Creatures.
Wondrous Creatures is a worker placement game about forming a fantasy creature reserve. And I think what I really like are the little crewmate meeples and then the captain that magnetically attaches to it.
It takes a lot of mechanics from other games that I really enjoy and mixes them up in a fun and unique way. I'll tell you all about it after this quick how to play. Wondrous Creatures is played over a series of turns with players performing one basic action each turn.
On their turn, players may place one crew member on the map and receive resources on the habitats they are adjacent to.
Or players may play up to 2 cards, paying their cost and possibly activating their abilities.
Or players may recharge, which means they retrieve their crew members from the map board.
Or players may complete an achievement by meeting the requirements of one of the achievement cards.
When a player completes an achievement, they will take a trophy off of the board.
When a player takes the final trophy off the board, all other players take one final turn, then the game ends.
Players will score immediate points throughout the game, as well as endgame points from their creatures, achievements, trophies, and leftover resources.
The player with the most points wins. Before you go off capturing fantastic beasts, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button.
All your likes and subscribes really help our channel grow, so thank you.
Wondrous Creatures has a lot of fun mechanics that I really enjoy because there are a lot of fun mechanics from other games that I really enjoy. However, they do mix it up in a unique and interesting way that I did find fun and engaging. I especially liked how the main mechanic is a worker placement. You're going to have your workers or your crew members, which are these animals, and there's different types of animals that you can play with, and you're going to have a captain, and the captain will actually ride one of the animals. But the key of the worker placement mechanic is when you place it, you have to cover 2 of the hex tiles on the map, and then whichever hex tiles that have resources that they're adjacent to, you can get those resources, or you can get a card from the draft pool that matches that habitat. So you have 2 options with the hex tiles that you're next to. Plus, there's one more thing that you can have. There's also little eggs in the game that are to be placed on the map at certain times as well. If you have a net token, you can then capture that egg, and that egg will go on your player board, and those can count as species when it comes to meeting your achievement on the achievement cards. So there's a lot of things that you can do with your worker placement, and I really like that it's a worker placement because we really like worker placement games, but they mix up the mechanics and they combine some other things that I haven't really seen done before in order to make it a new, interesting way of doing the worker placement.
The main thing that drew me to this game and made me want to back it were the little meeples and everything, and I liked how the captains are magnetic and they attach to it. I mean, that's basically it. It attaches just so you can signify, like, this is my captain and these are the crew members. The main reason for that is the captains have asymmetric powers. And so I really like how these were set up. They felt balanced to me, and they weren't like oh, this captain gets one thing. They were fairly powerful, but it was somewhat like everyone was fairly powerful too, but not too overpowered. I'm sure there's going to be some combinations or anything like that where we're like, oh, well, this game, yours is very powerful. However, maybe in another game or another combination, it might not be.
The next main mechanic of the game is set collection. You're collecting sets of creatures and habitats that are on the cards, and you're going to play those cards in your tableau. And this part of the game will really remind you, because it really reminded me, of Everdell. You have the same format as the cards of Everdell. You have the cost of the resources needed to get this creature. You have what their ability is here. They have different types of abilities. They have names. And they have points that you score at the end of the game. So the format of the card looks almost exactly like Everdell. I think I even mentioned that in our unboxing video, which if you haven't watched, check out that link in our description below. And while they are really similar to Everdell, I do feel like these cards are stronger, and you do feel that tableau building, that engine building more than you do in Everdell. Everdell really does cascade. You start off with nothing, and by the 4th round, you have so much that you're doing that it's almost crazy. Similar thing happens here, but I just feel like that snowball can happen quicker because you can really get certain cards that can chain during certain actions and really have you doing a whole lot. Sometimes maybe even a little too strong in certain cases, just depending on luck of the draw. Very similar to Everdell, but even stronger than Everdell when it comes to the cards that you're putting in your tableau.
The artwork on the creature cards I really like because sometimes they're like hybrids, right? There's like a spider elephant or something like that. And so the abilities on the bottom, there's a lot of iconography that should be pretty easy to understand if you've played a couple times, but there's even text on there that explains it too. We didn't have to go to the rulebook too much on descriptions of like, hold on, pull up card 29. What does this mean? So I don't think we had to do that too much, maybe once or twice. But I like the illustrations on it, and there's pretty much 5 types of creatures that you look out for. There's like instants, there's continuous abilities, there's endgame points, There's something with energies, and there's like a recharge that activates whenever you pull your workers back. Having a good combination of those, or figuring out like, okay, these are only showing in the draft pool, so this is where I started. It lets you kind of rethink or pivot, and just, I like how as you're building your reserve, you're like, okay, I've got these species, here's my achievements. Well, okay, hold on. Looks like he's going after it, so let me go after something else. So it all kind of goes well together, but my whole thing, the entire game was, how do I chain these? I want to chain these so it's just perfect.
The last major thing in the game are the achievement cards. So you have contracts in the game. So the first player with 6 monkey types of creatures can place their little ink pot token here on this spot and claim an achievement trophy. So you take a trophy off of the board. And then at the end of the game, they'll get 12 points. And as you're getting those trophy cards, that's also the ticking time of the game in terms of when the game's gonna end, because you have so many trophies out on the board, depending on player count. And as the trophies are getting removed, you know that time's ticking down, because once that last trophy is removed, the other players take a turn and then the game ends. So when there's lots of trophies out there, you still know, okay, still have lots of time to do stuff, still have lots of time to go after the achievements. But once all those trophies are gone, that's the end of the game. And it can kind of sneak up on you pretty quickly, because you're playing like, oh, there's still 5 trophies out there. 2 turns, oh, there's only 1 trophy out there. Like, how did that happen? It's just from that stacking and that chaining of cards, making it so that you can either remove trophies out of the game, or you achieve something and then you get the trophy.
So I like the game overall, and I like how it gets me very nostalgic for some of our other favorite games, right? Because when you see some mechanics, you're like, oh, this looks definitely like this other game, and I had positive vibes about that, so I like that. Oh, well, this does kind of the same thing that this other game did. So to me, it almost felt like they pulled the best things from some of my favorite games and put it all together, and I like this game too.
I really like the mechanic of you have 3 workers that you're placing out on the map board, and you can't take them all back until you've played them all. So other players can kind of look at how many workers you still have left in your area and kind of time in their head in terms of, oh, once he pulls those workers back, I might be able to take that spot and get those resources, because I really need those resources to get these creatures. So if I see that Lee has all his workers out there, it's only a matter of time until he has to take a turn to pull them back. So maybe I'm focusing on either pulling mine back now to kind of hope that he'll do it on his turn and I'll have my workers, or saving my 1 worker that I want to use to make sure that I can take that really good spot when it comes up again. What did you not like about the game?
So one thing I didn't like is the captain's abilities, they start off locked. And in order to unlock them, you have to get your first achievement. I didn't really like that so much, because some of these abilities, I'm like, wow, I want to be able to use that right off the bat. But I understand maybe some of them are too strong early on in the game, and that may give someone a commanding lead, so I get it. However, I just felt like the very beginning of the game, the whole time I'm like, I wish I could use this right now. I want to use it right now. So it just felt kind of slow in the very beginning trying to get that unlock, and it was just torturing me.
One of the house rules we were discussing is unlocking your captain after you've pull your workers back for the first time. So you have to place all 3 of your workers before you can pull them back. But that first time that you pull them back, that's when you'd be allowed to unlock your captain, because that gives you at least 3-4 turns, maybe even more, before you'd be able to unlock your captain, which is a little bit into the game. But it doesn't mean you have to wait so long in case you have to unlock an achievement. And if you're going after the same achievement as somebody else and they get the easier one first, then you need the harder one. It could take you even longer before you unlock your captain ability. The thing that I didn't like in the game is the time track. I feel like it's not as useful in speeding up the game as quickly as possible. The box says the game should play in 40 to 80 minutes. However, I have no idea how they got those times, because even if you're playing solo, maybe you could fall within that range. But if you're playing, it takes a long time to do certain things, especially if you want to create a good chain, a good tableau of the creatures that you're going after, get the right resources, take the right actions, be as efficient as possible. It's still going to take quite a while. A couple of the 3-player games we had were 2 hours plus, so way over that 80-minute mark. They should make the time track shorter so that you get to the end when you can start chucking these trophies off the board without having to get the achievements. You can get to the end game faster. I just feel like it needs to be sped up a little bit. There are too many trophies on the board, no matter what the player player count is, and you need to be able to get rid of those trophies quicker. So that if you're the player who's basically achieving everything you need to achieve and you think you're winning, you want to be able to get to that end game and not just have to drag out and wait for that other player and just be sitting there while they're racking up points. And you're like, oh, I need this game to end faster.
Overall, I'd buy this game. Just because I like the pieces on it with the little captains. Like I said, it takes a lot of like good things from my other favorite games and puts them together. And it like kind of melds it together very well that I'm having a lot of fun. The whole game, I'm not like, oh, this is totally like Terraforming Mars or this is totally like Everdell. Nope, it's still its own unique like fingerprint of a game. So I'm like, okay, I like this. I like the little creatures and like looking at the artwork and the pictures.
Overall, I would recommend this game. I'd probably give this game a 7 or 8, something like that on Board Game Geek. I really enjoyed it. Now, I have to add a caveat to it. I would recommend that you play it. I really enjoyed it. If someone else has it, I'd want to play it. However, if I own Everdell, I wouldn't buy this game because I still like Everdell better. It does things different, and it's different enough from Everdell that if you like those types of games, you could have both in your collection. However, I personally wouldn't want both in my collection. This is a great game. I like Everdell more. If I had to choose something that has similar mechanics, I'm going to play Everdell over this game. However, I still recommend this game, and if you like those games, you're okay with having both, or you don't have either one, definitely check this one out. And that was our review of Wondrous Creatures.
What'd you think? Is this game exactly what you're looking for? If so, let us know in the comments below.
And as always, if you're enjoying our content, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
I'm Kenny, and go party like a board gamer.